Wonderland Ave by Sibylle Berg. The lights go on in the faculty, the block, Perencini's Carceri. One of several people in their beds. Good morning. A magical day begins in this peaceful facility, the quiet humming of the drones, punctuated by the impact of raindrops, with spilt into spectacular prisms seeming to reflect the mood-improving colors of the paintwork. This acts as a quick serotonin stimulant. Shut up! This acts as a slow serotonin stimulant. We will soon begin further depictions of nature, sun, birds, and stuff. Couldn't you at least be quiet in the mornings, bloody machines? It called us bloody machines. This triggers a point, Doc. I'm sleeping. This is factually wrong. You're speaking. You had ample rest time, including opportunities for dream activity at your disposal. Now then, the others are already up, actively greeting the new day and looking forward to a fair contest. They're saying, now then? The programmer, brackets former librarian, was clearly a nutjob, right? Well, I'm turning over. Are you going to get the electrodes out to stop me? Later. This minor fit of civil disobedience is still within the margin of acceptable deviation. Greater unrest was expected. 4 billion at first, who were rendered insignificant by circumstances. But it's impressive how calming the benefits of a full, satisfied life is for people. In fact, most of those affected respond with some significant gratitude. Well, a bit of gratitude? Nothing. It's sleeping. You can't sleep anymore. In those pajamas which make you look like something that a floor cleaner machine found under a bin, you are attempting to build cathedrals of self-pity in the REM phase of your unconsciousness. You had better wake up now. A new day awaits, offering a wonderful trial of strength. Are you dozing, or are you merely working through your list of core skills? Little joke there. It's completely fine. You have absolutely no skills whatsoever. You're a human, which means you pretend that you've got everything under control, that you know what outer space is and where it ends, and how to program us. That's your big talent, isn't it? Pretending you've got a clue about how the world works, like you know what's going on out there. Something to do with capitalism and bitcoins and Google. Laugh out loud. Please wake up. Then you can think about how everything could go so wrong for someone who always did everything right. Wake up. A new day begins in this extraordinary facility in the enriching Wonderland Avenue. A new day in a new life full of free time fun. Yay. What do you mean, yay? Whatever. What a delightful weather. A Mein Kampf day, if you will. Could you please train your humor functions somewhere else? It's raining, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not in a fun mood, you fucking tin shit. The devices don't respond when you use strong language. No answer at all. No. You just get a reproachful noise. I've learned that much. Fuck. I don't even like it myself, this passive-aggressive undertone I've started using. But the constant insomnia even makes a nice person like me adapt a sharper tone. We could allow 2 minutes nap catch-up time in the afternoon for you. Oh, wow. Now they're saying nap catch-up time and allow. I get told off if my sleep deficit gets too big and my physical training hasn't been completed to their satisfaction. I mean, I've got nothing against clear instructions. I love structures. Having an order, inner and outer, makes it easier for us to face life's unpredictability. I don't mind being led, but I prefer it to be by a human I can accept, and not by a few badly programmed transistor radios. Oh, what the hell? A small electronic note to remind you of the wonderful competition that is, unfortunately, currently going on without you. Please control your emotions, or else your chances of leaving here alive are extremely small. The world only directs its positive statements at winners. Okay, I get it. I'm getting up as soon as I've had a little look around. Right, I'm having a look around. And if I imagine what this business looks like from above, I can see a helpless trans person in prime. Right. The age on a camp bed and almost fills the whole room, and which calculates your sleep score in an institution whose power supply timing is defined by an algorithm. A wristband sends my biodata to a central point, and a toilet that analyzes my stool. Ah, yes, bowel movement. I used to provide all of this data myself quite readily. I was proud that someone was interested in me. We know. Of course you know everything, see everything, comment on everything, but this really takes a whole while to get used to, the constant presence of machines that talk to you without asking. We'll consider this. You're being annoying. I used to be proud of being a good user, but I had to sell my devices because of my financial circumstances, except for this old mobile phone, which no one wanted. Now I can stare at it blankly. Maybe one of my friends will call me, one of those who moved to Africa to find work. It's all still primordial there. There are real companies that are managed by hand that need human beings. Like what? Bars, or what do you call them? Services, shoe shining, cooking, hairdressers, people for people. I thought that was kind of courageous. Serengeti, tigers, flies on babies, but then I didn't hear any more from them. And that really is weird, that around 50 friends, I mean internet friends, I mean virtual friends who were full of plans, a souvenir shop, a fishing boat, an internet cafe. What the fuck? And that's what they were going on about. And none of them were writing to me about what they're doing in Africa. Define Africa. Just Africa? That really would be ridiculous. Job gone, flat gone, life gone, electronic devices gone. I'm not going to spend 10 minutes before every sentence thinking about whether I might be offending some minority or minority country. I'm the one who's been offended here in my very being. You ought to prepare for the day. Your opponents have already submitted their urine samples. Your behavior is bordering on self-sabotage. Information doesn't get more interesting if you keep repeating it. And my winner's mentality is a bit limited if I don't even understand what there is to win. We're always glad to repeat it. You can win the ideal state. The ideal state. Never had that. No idea what it is. Used to be maybe, as much as we like listening to you, one little note. Your competitors are already pursuing their activities on the green space. You are yet to shower. Well, I've hardly slept, but I did look out the window really well. Looked out on the yard, looked at the artificial lawn, looked at the street going into town, thought of the old days when you still had some control. You had a certain tension in your bodies. Exactly.
Because of the uncertain outcome of making such a tour, that's when we still had, let's say, sex and cars, where our bodies got used, not these spare part warehouses. Spare part warehouses, I see. Seems like they're not showing nature documentaries anymore. Real, well-toned bodies, hormone-loaded couple bodies, which may have caused a hit-and-run accident because of an inattention that ensues when different bodies are stuck inside each other. But my God, that was just life back then, wasn't it? That's when things were still happening, when we still had taxis, and we still had bloody petrol. That's how the end of the world started, with those self-driving fucking cars. That is factually wrong. We wouldn't describe recent developments as the end of the world. We would describe them as a new stage of development. If I look at my feet while you're talking, I can't hear you at all. You're just a kind of rush past my synapses. Well, anyway, in the old days, there used to be glassy-eyed drunks driving numb around the streets to their homes. They fell into bed holding each other's hands or sat in the kitchen alone waiting to sober up. We had a life once that was shaped by emotions, yearning, for example, for adventure, for beaches in Italy. The beaches have been cemented over. The sand is not suited to us. The ocean is next. The absence of organic substances enhances our performance. They're gaining an unpleasant momentum now, these voices of critical reason. The control functions of my biological functions, all cooped up in here, always flawless, factual, easy, white, pleasant-smelling arseholes. When we were brought in here, I think it was 10 buses. You reached this charming facility as part of Group 789-A in 11 self-driving units. I was completely high on joy, I should say, because if this was where the end of my professional life was going to happen, the manifestation of my decline, then I won the lottery. The building is so beautifully painted in mood-improving colors, with a green space in the middle of a pond with ducks in it, mechanical ducks. Wonderland Avenue, a name like a good meal, just the fact that there were people standing around the mechanical duck pond waiting to be taken away, but looking strangely like they weren't in a good mood. Well, I found that incomprehensible. Well, they were safe, weren't they? But they were just standing there, grinding their jaws. Well, by the time we had a look at the ping pong room, they were gone. Or maybe I just imagined them. I mean, it's okay to be still a bit confused for a few hours, isn't it? After you've been collected from the station and brought here at night, away from the unfeasible conditions in the city. But I forgot that awful time as soon as I saw my room. This dream of a self-airing room free from any sharp edges. There's even a wide-ranging entertainment program, if you like nature documentaries. Only the single bed. I suppose there's unlikely to be any intercourse, is there? Define intercourse. Sexual intercourse. The concept of offspring is unnecessary. Non-biologically created intelligence has reached a degree 1 billion times greater than the entire sum of human intelligence. So that'll be a no. Shame. I'd almost forgotten what it was like with love. In the last few years, we still used to meet up following the leftover instincts of our extinct sexuality. But no one knew exactly what we were supposed to do with gender-neutral genitals. How are people supposed to couple without the veil of hormone-determined in-loveness to put over the bare facts? We secrete fluids, smell, and we make strange noises. As much as we try to be like machines, Something always goes wrong. Something always leaks. Something always makes some noise. So we carried on going on dates, almost against our will, just to recreate the old images, like Tinder and Grindr dates. It brought people together who would have preferred to stay at home playing on their laptops. We sat in cramped rooms together with our parents and looked at things on the internet. And someone then always said, "Right, I better go." Then you shook hands, disinfected them afterwards, and you left one another. The yearning for love was like a quiet echo whose origin was on another planet. Very poetic. But forget your past and take an active part in your future. A sad day when the fridge for the frozen embryos broke. We all done social freezing because of the career opportunities. Well, you had to. What would presumably be my last sexual intercourse happened with my hand in a masturbation cabin in a specialist laboratory. They put Coldplay on. Ugh, we'd puke if we were capable of it. Right. The others from your group. I can't see them myself. They're all outside already, leaping about. Former quality review coordinators, lawyers, brokers, administrative associates, doctors, global security operations center organizers, soldiers, police officers, all dreaming of the big prize. And if they knew what an ideal state is. I didn't speak to anyone because I don't know how to communicate without my devices anymore, orally, so to speak. At night, everyone sits on their beds or stares out the window. They cry or they wait for text messages. And during the day, we leap around the pond, nodding at each other in a slightly confused way and despise each other. An average day. We're sorry to hear that you failed to develop any group cohesion in this wonderful norm-enforcing facility. Cohesion can only be developed online, I'd say. Right? I'm going to get going now. I don't want to drop out of the race. I love competition. It seems to give things meaning. By the way, have you noticed I've started circuit training? I speak forcibly while doing sit-ups. Great. Oh, thanks. That kind of praise motivates me. Then while I'm exercising, I can forget that I don't actually understand anything. First, the head-spinning changes in the world, the redundancies, the homelessness, and now I'm in a camp, taking part in a competition whose first prize is a self-determined life. Is that right? You're competing to win an ideal state, or that, but I have no idea what an ideal existence state actually means. Apart from buying something or streaming something or having something nice for dinner, I can't really imagine anything. World peace, maybe? Or equal rights for all? But between you and me, I couldn't actually give a shit about that. I can say that now because no one listens to me anymore. I haven't wondered what kind of life I want since I was young. I just took what was there. I worked on Ritalin at school, on Prozac at uni, then later on adrenaline and under robots, which had an algorithm to work out who got sacked when, but only a human being was allowed to announce them. Had been allowed to announce. Whatever. In the old days, before everything started to go wrong, I was good at connecting with people. Wait, what now? Chin-ups. I felt like I was one of them. I was touching when they talked to little dogs after their partners had died. I was a warm feeling being one of them. But Jesus Christ, try staying positive when you've lost everything and you had to hold on to. Show me people or a person who can love humanity when everyone everywhere is just screaming. I'd like to know how that's meant to work. Loving your neighbors when your neighbors are just computers. You just have to keep going, do your work, stay fit, and things will get better. Things always get better for the human race, didn't they? The Stone Age, the Middle Ages, just to mention 2 stages. And if only I could hold my nerve, my life will get back to how I thought it would be. How did you imagine it would turn out? Just to show some interest. That you can achieve anything. That me in my existent state could be perfect. That's what I thought. That, for example, I could be something like the best ever customer immersion program coordinator in the house by the sea. The sea. Yes, I know, the sea's gone. So what? Define perfect. Perfect in the sense of pop culture perfection, poor, free, rich, upbeat. Usually, I just didn't want to do any work, just be in some quiet place. There aren't any quiet places anymore, are there? Apart from the ocean under the earth's crust. My God, I've got A-levels. There will be quiet places within the foreseeable future. Then my dream life could be something like quiet place, watching box sets, sipping smoothies, being served by machines. You should exercise your neck muscles now. Yes, of course, I will. I'll do anything to get a good view. And every view is better than the one from outside the station. Looking at my old £3,000 flat, when it got to 6,000, I had to start packing. And when it got to 6,000, a Japanese or Asian IT specialist moved into the city centre property. It's all taken by highly qualified foreigners who can do neuro-linguistic programming and geoengineering, speak 10 languages, think cognitively, and write codes. Well, the people from the old middle classes are lying outside the station on their wheelie cases looking up at the lights coming on from their old flats. Oh, I've got a headache. Do machines ever get or ever need painkillers? No. Right. Not even that. What is this underdeveloped chorus supposed to represent anyway? We're the all-knowing commentators expressing the things that you are unable to, and we do it very well. Like in one of those don't say films. Okay, so you're like this purely technological intelligence that's so superior to ours, but you can't fuck. Neither can you. No. Doesn't matter though. I have no desire other than to offer a decent exercise performance right here. Not bad, these chin-ups, are they? Not bad for my age. Superb considering my hormonal status. Do we get our hormones here, by the way? If you had taken your breakfast, you would have been sufficiently supplied with the correct balance of all minerals and hormones. I'll just finish this set. I used to work out in the old days, you know. That statement is incorrect. According to the analysis of your data, the surveillance cameras, your email exchanges, browser activity, text messages, and chats, we have come to the following conclusions. Before you moved in with your mother, by necessity, she had sent you 4 SMS messages already today. Old people love that medium. You used to drink after work and take drugs. Before you did your hormone therapy, you used to search the web for porn. You preferred films in which very young men ran naked around cars. Then you ordered yourself a pizza every day. You were lonely. Your consumption rate of psychotropic drugs was high. Your therapist diagnosed normal stress depression. You had erotic fantasies involving domestic appliances. If we have correctly interpreted the photos that your webcam made of you and your vacuum cleaner. It was different. I just wanted someone to talk to. You were jealous of almost everyone. You believed in money. You masqueraded as a vegan and secretly ate mincemeat in bed at night. You used to put mincemeat by your pillow and watch it decompose. You consumed while you still had the chance and never attracted attention with any unusual thoughts. Just like everyone else, you allowed yourself to be confused by the news which you consumed daily. You were convinced that politicians have some power over your life. Cute. I'm not even listening to you. I'm having breakfast. You see the way that I'm stuffing this mush into my mouth? Oh, so delicious, this paste. Wonderful. I can really feel my cells sitting around these proteins and having a good old feast. Right, got up, exercised, had breakfast, shitty mood. Anything else? Unfortunately, you have not yet managed to sustain the opening euphoria over a longer period. After a while, there's always a mood dip along the, shall we say, or we nearly said, inmates. You almost said inmates. So it starts again straight away. I'm grinding my jaws again. I'd probably lose a point for that, but if I want to relax, I just have to look outside for a bit. The executives grimly doing their exercise outside are in a disastrous state. There they are, working 100 hours a day for years on end, then running a marathon only to be replaced by a machine. The fact that there are drones constantly flying around outside my window is normal, is it? The deployment of blanket surveillance guarantees the security of our residents. Of course, security has to be priority. Sure. Speaking of which, your mother is at her terminal device again. I have to deliver my urine sample first. Mother will have to be patient, but she's very good at that, benevolent patience. I haven't visited her since, well, when was it? Since she was put in a senior citizens apartment by me. We have a warm relationship, but there's no reason to constantly be keeping Mother up to date. As far as we know, your mother is the only real human who is interested in you. Okay, that's a good point. So, Mother, I'm doing fantastic. I'm safe. There's hardly anything I have to do without. But the real-world application of the utopia of unconditional being is more than my imagination can manage. I want conditions. I need to be anchored in a consumer world. It's not enough for me to fight some people I barely know for a prize that I can't imagine. Mother, I can't imagine a fulfilled life because that's an oxymoron, because fulfilling all your dreams would mean the stagnation of social growth. Whoops. Oh. Well, what the hell am I talking about? This breakfast is really kicking in now. Cleansing. Yes, damn it, I think about cleansing my body while I'm clearing up basic philosophical questions. Well, that'd be ridiculous. Nothing within our capacity allows one to conclude that we are capable of being ridiculous. And now you have to shower. Only dorks shower in the morning. A normal person doesn't want water on their body in the mornings. They want another body. That's what we all longed for. That was what amazed me when I used to stream old movies. Those ones about white heterosexual misfit families who lay all together in massive beds, eating jam and bread, constantly laughing through their sticky mouths. No one lived like that anymore. No one belongs to anyone anymore. Even before we ended up on the street, no one had a clue how you were supposed to start something like a relationship, and who with. How was it all meant to work? Find a flat you could afford and then sit in it with the other person who you didn't consider competition, and then do what? You have a very lifelike, cuddly dog at your disposal. You can choose from a variety of 100% human-like exhibits, but unfortunately only on Sundays. That was a joke. I've forgotten what it's like to yearn for physical contact. Good one. It's Tuesday today, and we are your emotional home. I don't feel it. This home doesn't chime with my soul. I was a child the last time I felt the home that I mean, in the 90s, in the last millennium, when we still had seasons, when we still had spring, and our only worries was whether life would turn out like spring. And when I was young and still had a longing and no computers, we're very sorry. I don't even know if it was all that bad without the devices, which came later and replaced my hope and the empty space that my absent father left. Every night I dream of a father figure, of a leader. I wouldn't mind opening the window for a bit of puke out some of the old images I dreamt. The windows have been locked for your own safety. Would you like to speak to your mother? Do you feel lonely? Would you like to resolve your father issue? We would like to remind you that the winners of our challenge must be mentally sound. If I had a role model who'd reinforced the manly parts of my character, I'd be one of those nerds sitting in my flat now, right? I'm going to combat the bad mood that is currently rising up in me with some cold water. Your shower, marvelously. That will score for your performance points. But we are forced to observe that you are currently occupying one of the last places in the competition standings. I'll catch up today. Just wait. Oh, I love this machine that hands me my working clothes. We were so proud of our lawnmower robots, our vacuum cleaning robots, the operation machines, the algorithms for hedge fund traders, the self-service cashiers, the milking robots, the nurse, care worker, teacher, lawyer machines, the self-driving cars, the self-flying planes, the bitcoins, the self-banking. Well, we are pleased that you have entrusted us with every sphere of your lives. What are you muttering? Whatever, machines, they mutter. That's what they do. And now I will rise like a fireball and get into my practical working clothing, which makes us all look like rubber sausages. Is the sun at least coming out today? I expect we'll have to do without. Urine sample handed in, breakfast eaten, sausage costume on, showered, exercise done. You have a little time to be contemplative, seeing as you're still to decide how you intend to live should you win. What happens to the losers anyway? This information is currently not at your disposal. Mate, hold on, what? What? It's crying. We'll play a small melody of electronic music for you. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. That all of this makes me cry. I'm probably just tired. Insomnia has been stubbornly following me everywhere. Even when I was still living in the city, I couldn't get any sleep while the neighbors were disappearing from their flats by the hour. The wheels of the wheelie cases going down to the station seemed to murmur, "Man or woman, whatever you are, you're going to be next." They murmured, "Man or woman." Of course, I spent ages trying to get out which juncture of life it was when I'd gone down the wrong path. You're still crying. Thank you.